is the comparison of the fine-tuned approach, fine-tuning approach compared to semantic search. And this is the influencers that shared the guidelines, like a few really good tips and comparison. So you need a bunch of data, at least like 200 data points, so that the model works reliably. It's harder to prepare the data. It has to be very good quality. So if you have bad quality data injecting, you'll also have bad quality outputs. So data is one probably the key component here. Yeah. So the more data, more examples you have, the better trained model you will have, obviously. So use cases, sentiment analysis is a very good use case because it's very heavily relies on the pattern. Text generation, if you want your chatbot to adopt a specific style or a specific tone, that pattern, changing the pattern, retraining the pattern is a very good way to do that. Fake news detection, that's also, you kind of give bunch of examples to the model and it will then be able to detect. I'll show you one example of a trained model. Here, for example, this is a model that I used for another tool, which is doing project scoping. And I injected a bunch of scoping data. So this is the prompt of the data and this is the output. And based on these examples, I have 28 data here, so not that much. But and that's the reason why it has also this kind of breaks. But nevertheless, it changes. The pattern has been entirely retrained. And let's say if I inject now this kind of information, a generic type of information about a project, it's going to provide the output in this format. So exactly in this format. So it's going to structure it this way, and it's going to try to generate a full scope because I retrained the pattern based on these examples. And you can see why it's cheaper to use because I don't need to iterate just like with ChatGPT, provide information and say, yeah, okay, but then change this and I need to have it in this format. It already understands everything because it's already in its pattern. Right? So let's try to train a model. You would go in a Fine-Tuner interface, you would choose this one. Let's say with increasing number of epochs, you would have a higher cost is because epochs means you're going to have more training cycles, right? So it's going to increase the amount of the time of training and the time of the amount of data processing, basically. So let's choose 6 epochs, let's say. And these are the other parameter sets. Okay, continue. And now this is the important part. So with Fine-Tuner, you have 2 options. You can either enter the data manually, and then you can also, you have this kind of editor where you can change the data easily and adjust it. This is going to be a bit more, this is going to require a bit more effort. The other approach is you can just upload CSV data right away, and it's going to convert it into JSON and start the training. Okay, makes sense. So Apple stock price for tomorrow. This is what I want the model to estimate, predict. And now I can define, okay, I will provide you the couple of indicators. Let's say, yeah, the stock, I will provide you SMA there is I will also provide you the interest rate and unemployment rate. And based on this information, you would detect the pattern and give me an estimate, right? So now I can import data. Okay, so the entire data set has been imported now. And you can see all the data here. If you have anything to adjust, you can do that easily. If you want to add additional information manually, you can also do that. And after doing the data control, I think there's one issue. It's indicating an empty field, empty data. Okay, now I have everything, all the historical data, and I can use it to retrain the pattern. Cost, I can see here 1,800 credits. Again, it's calculated based on amount of words and amount of epochs. So amount of processing required for this data. And I accept it, and it's going to initiate it. Okay, okay. So I can see here, it actually went a bit quicker than I thought. It's already queued, and the queue number is 2. That's good. In the meantime, let's have a look at the scoping, at model trained on scoping. Let's say a project scope is to develop. Yeah, we can try something. So here you also have the parameters. In the playground of your fine-tuner, you can set you want to use the base model, non-trained, or the trained model, and this way you can compare the results. You can adjust the temperature, you can change the amount of tokens, and you can also change the stop sequence. Let's say this is a project. Okay, you can see here the inputs that I provided to this model is this is a project about developing AI solution based on Bubble, right? So that was sufficient enough for the model to generate the output in this structure. So to generate a project scope. Whether the quality is good, I don't think so, because I use limited amount of data here. But nevertheless, you see that the entire pattern is has changed. So you can give the inputs which you would give normally to ChatGPT. It would say, I don't understand, provide more context, please. But this model already has it in the pattern, so it can already give you the exact scope here, right? Okay, so this is how it works, and I will show you the API part. We have the new APIs in place, and you can run the Postman collection. If you click on this, you can test all the API endpoints, and you can also see the API, how the API calls are set up. So you can simply copy paste and troubleshoot pretty easily. So if you click here, let's say view collection, you will end up here, and now you can test it. You would need to include your authorization token, which you can find, of course, in your settings and API key here. and you're good to go. So the model number here is, let's have a look. I'll take this one. I need to provide this. Here, I can provide a prompt. This is the body here. I can also change the temperature, the amount of tokens. Okay, I'll use my token, but then I'll change it, so no problem. Okay, I need to save it actually. Probably. Okay, let's check. Okay, I saved it. Now it's generating the output, the fine-tuned output. Features, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and you can get this in your app, right? Now, we can also compare it to the base model, so non-trained model, and see how it compares to the trained one. Yeah, so compare this to this. Yeah, you can see the difference. Okay. Data, you can view your data here. You can also download the data. You cannot retrain the model yet, but that will also be available. And here you have actually the analysis, and you can see if your training was successful or not, right? So the idea is that the training loss needs to go down over the processing, fine-tuning process. And you would need to have sequence accuracy in the end, right? So having these spikes is actually good. The more you have, the less you have this, and the more you have this is good, basically. And you can read about it here also. The endpoints, I just know you can also get your data. If you need the data in your model, you can get it. We will also include, we're happy, of course, to hear your feedback, but we're planning to also include data creation endpoints so that you can create your data, let's say, directly from your database in your app and inject it into your model. And the API logs, of course. Yeah, that's basically the entire process. A very interesting to do would be, a very interesting thing to do would be to train this kind of model, to train the pattern, and then use it also for together with semantic search. So you would have a model which is already has the retrained pattern, and also uses the knowledge from vector databases. That would be a really cool thing, and it's actually would be very straightforward for us to test it out because everything is in place now, and we will test it soon. And if it provides good results, we will roll it out, and you can use it. You'll be able to use it as well. Okay, let's see how's the progress with this one. Okay, we can see it already started the fine-tuning. So it's doing the third epoch now, and a couple of more epochs, and then it should be finished.
Thank you so much, Albert, for this.
Yeah.
2 questions. The first question is, when you compare to the base, is the base just like as if you were to run it against DaVinci 003? without any
Yeah,
sort of zero shot?
yeah, that's a good question. So right now the fine tuning is done on only on OpenAI models, and the default model is Da Vinci, but we will include the option here to choose from other models. So you would be able to choose from, I think, let me check that. Yeah, one of the OpenAI models, Da Vinci uh, or other ones, Ada or whatever. Yeah.
Awesome. And my second question is a little bit more general on the API side. Are we going to have an endpoint that will be able to create an AI via API? So basically, without having to click the create AI, and you'll be able to retrieve the model name
Yeah.
or the model number?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Let me show you something in that regard. Okay, I'll check this and I'll show you. In the meantime, Matthew, happy to answer your question. So,
Hey, Albert, good presentation. My question is on the credit. The credits, is that my OpenAI credits or is that Fine-Tune credits? Which one is that?
these are the fine-tune credits.
Okay, so there's a pricing model that we'll purchase to have access to our endpoint.
Yeah, so the pricing model you can see here.
Okay.
These are the credits. The credits are lower compared to the other tools which do this kind of type of thing. But so you don't need any subscription. So when you start, basically you get like 5,000 credit points, right, for free, and you'll have them every month refreshed. So you'll get every month 5K credits. And for this one, we used 1,800. So basically, you can start for free, and on the free tier, you would have enough credits to train this kind of this this type of data. Like I used 100 data, so you can use train a full model. Unless it's like huge chunks of data, you can use like 100, 200 data to train a full model on free tier. Okay, apparently the model has been trained already, so I'm very excited to test it out. So this we can see all the data here, and let's see. I forgot to include the date. It doesn't make sense without the date, but we have the retrained pattern, so we can still test it. So let's take this and put it here. Let's talk Apple. Let's change this. Let's change this. Employment rate. We can change it. And we can change this. We change the tokens temperature. We'll leave it like this. First, we do base model. Yeah, so this the base model is trying to process this information, somehow structure it, but just trying to explain this stuff, right? Without any structure or any concrete objective. If I do the fine-tuned one, okay. Based on these parameters, this would be the Apple stock price tomorrow, 300. So I made some adjustments, and and this is the result. Yeah, you get the idea. And if I put here something different, of course it will give me something different. Yeah, now it's higher. Read the results here. Oh, this was a really good training. this was a really good training. So look, the accuracy is really, really good. So this was a really good training. Yeah, that's it basically. You can use it, and we'll also introduce the new endpoints, and we'll introduce the options so that you can use your own OpenAI credentials, and possibly we will also introduce the option where you can combine the fine-tuned model with a semantic search, and hopefully it's going to be something really good. I'm excited to test it out. Okay, that was it for today. I hope it was helpful, and if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to me or Alex or our team. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye bye.